But I don't know. It's frustrating to see. You get on the online and I get on the online. God, I'm getting old. You surf the web, man. You get on the net. All right, you take your CD-ROM and
On the
you
web.
dial in.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the 5-Star Jobbers Podcast. I'm Cody.
And I am sick and tired of traveling.
I was about to say,
I'm old. And I'm old. I'm a year
You
older.
said it, not me.
Uh,
Yeah, hopefully we don't have to do Zoom very much longer, but, things going on. We're traveling and doing all these other things. So, but
I've been in a hotel for 3 days. I'm going to be in another hotel 2 days from now. People, please subscribe. It'd be so nice to do this for a living.
yeah,
Let Daddy work. Let Daddy work from home.
yes. Hey,
Yeah.
we've got a goal set by our very own King Heel over here. 300 subscribers by the end of the year. I know y'all can do it.
It's
I have
easy
faith in you.
peasy. Easy peasy.
It's just
It's
go
easier
to
than
our channel.
it's easier than a pyramid scheme. It costs you way less.
Absolutely. All you have to do, go to our YouTube channel. That little button that says subscribe, click it.
Yeah,
Simple as
like if
that.
you follow people that you don't even know and help them grow their social media influencer status. I bet you they'll never pay for a round of beers, but
Exactly.
this guy would.
I have no doubt about that. But
Yeah, I'm hospitable.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening, and thank you for subscribing to our podcast and subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you haven't already, like we said, go ahead and check us out. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well. You can find all of our commentary content on there as well. Also, want to let you guys know of some upcoming events that are going to be going on here pretty soon. July 20th. Got a couple dates for you, or a couple events for you that you need to check out. Guardians Legacy, Summer of Champions, July 20th will be at Rosenwald High School Gym in Panama City, Florida. Doors open at 6. Bell time is at 7 p.m. Go check them out. Great show, great product. Go check it out. Also happening July 20th, Kraken Pro Wrestling is back in Tifton, Georgia at the Mott Littman Gym.
The Kraken!
I was about to say, I knew it was going to come at some point. Kraken Pro Wrestling, July 20th at the Mott Littman Gym in Tifton, Georgia at 7 p.m. That's the start time, 7 p.m. Want more information? Go check out Kraken Pro Wrestling on their Facebook page. Go check out Guardians Legacy on their Facebook page as well. Also, the following date on the 21st, July 21st, that is, Wrestle South is back at the YB&B venue at the Brooks Plaza in Albany, Georgia. Doors open at 2 and the bell time is at 3. Go check them out on Facebook as well. A lot of great events coming up, a lot of great things happening. And speaking of great things happening, Money in the Bank. Holy cow. Now, I will say, there were some good things that happened, and there were some bad things that happened. And we'll get to that here in just a little bit.
Botch. It was the Money in the Botch.
Well, it wasn't a total botch. I'll just say that. It wasn't a total botch.
Well, I'm just saying, there were a few botches.
We'll say there were two main botches.
There were two big ones. I was saying, that doesn't ruin a show. It's just, for posterity's sake, it's just funny to laugh because at this point, nobody got hurt. It wasn't a bad botch. And at the end of the day,
one didn't get hurt.
Well, it's like this stuff happened. What'd you say?
I was just saying, thankfully, one of them didn't get hurt because from the way that it looked, it could have been a lot worse.
It could have been way worse, but no. At the end of the day, a lot of the keyboard warriors who have never taken a bump in their entire life will sit there and rant and rave and be like, "Oh my gosh, look at all the botches!" And you hear these morons, Money in the Bank was a complete failure, blah blah blah. I'm like, what?
It's like,
what are you
people? Y'all have
what
no
glue
clue
are you sniffing in your mama's basement?
Right, yeah, exactly. It's like y'all have no clue what's going on right now. Like, it's like we said before. We live in a day and age right now where fans want instant gratification with storylines and matches and pay-per-views and all this other stuff. But it's like we're in an era now where
good storylines are being crafted that are logical and, as I say, not predictable, but make sense.
Yeah.
Stars are getting time on camera. Not everybody, obviously, but more. And new things are happening. I mean, I don't know what more you want. Um, but I don't know. It's frustrating to see. You get on the online and I get on the online. God, I'm getting old. You surf the web, man. You get on the net. All right. You take your CD-ROM and you
On the
you dial
web.
in. Yeah, you get on the interwebs and you just. I mean, some people just all they want to do is bitch.
Man.
That's
I
right.
was I
That's
was
right.
hoping I wouldn't have to use the censor, but it's whatever.
But there's no. Oh, and by the way, we will be developing a Patreon with
That's
some
right.
PG-13 plus content. So anybody who's interested, please reach out and let us know, and we'll send you the information, and we'll have that stuff up there pretty soon. We'll be doing some segments that we don't do on this particular platform. Nothing too racy.
I was about to
These are
say
for my wife only. Um, and Cody's hairy butt cheeks are for his wife as well. But
exactly.
yeah, no. So not an OnlyFans, but a Patreon.
Yeah.
I'll do feed stuff, but nothing from the playground areas. Um,
My gosh, we've derailed so much. But anyway,
but no, back to it. No, I just it ticked me off because it's like I watched that event and I saw the botches, but it didn't upset me. It didn't ruin the night. It didn't ruin the
right.
match. But then I went online, and some people were just absolutely going to town. And to
I mean, it's
them,
it's absolutely crazy. It's like people look, things happen, and I mean, we move on from it. Okay,
yeah,
in the moment when you see it, it's like, oh gosh, like how do they recover from this? But they recovered and then some. Like
yeah,
everything that happened after that made up for that one instance. And I love how Bully Ray made this comment on Busted Open podcast whenever he was talking about, like, because back in the like older days or so, like during Attitude Era and prior to that, if something happened and you didn't kick out, the referee would count to three, like
that's
no
how it should
matter
be.
what, and that's how it should
Really,
be.
that's really how it
So,
should be.
so it's nothing on Priest, it's nothing on Rollins. It was on the referee. He should have counted to three, but
Yeah,
because I'm sure that there was something that needed to happen before the three count. I'm sure
I
Drew
think a
Diesel was
lot of
probably
time.
supposed to hit. I'm sure that something was supposed to happen where something was supposed to interrupt the count. But either way, the match still went perfectly.
I mean, it didn't go perfectly because of that, but it moved the story along, and
Right.
that's the hard part. About not to I'm not disagreeing with Bully Ray. Disclaimer: Bully's 5 stars. Um, but a counterpoint that I may lodge. Um, I agree with him fully that the ref shouldn't should be counting to three. If it's a three, it's three. It's the wrestler's job to make sure they get their shoulders up. There's no question about that. However, the ref, the talent, everybody has a bit of discretion, and some matches are not. And I don't mean to say this in a derogatory way, but some matches aren't going to be as pivotal storyline wise as others. Like, let's face it, if this was a situation between the Sami Zayn Braun Breaker match, and Sammy took maybe like a hard shot and was out a little bit and not fully aware of what was going on, and missed a kick out, and it was 1, 2, 3, chances are they would have rolled with it and they would have moved on. But this is a pretty big story that we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Like, it had multiple layers, and they say the whole Damian Priest Seth Rollins thing, that's not all that it was going on.
Right.
You had to have the Drew McIntyre situation with the CM Punk situation, which is building arguably the biggest match of SummerSlam.
Absolutely.
And so at that, I have to say, okay, you're in a rock and a hard place. Like, I get it, you should be counting the three, but if the ref counts the three at that point, that whole spot's ruined.
Yeah.
And Drew winning the Money in the Bank for the reason that he won is ruined. And that segment after Money in the Bank goes off would never have happened.
Well, fair point, and I'll counter that with this. Like, even
Fair
if,
point, correct point.
but regardless, I'm going to counterpoint with this. Like, if the referee had counted to 3 and Seth won the title, they still, because even afterwards, we saw on Monday that they swatted that off and said, okay, regardless, like, screw the whole, like, you can't challenge for the title as long as I'm champion. I'll still challenge you anytime, any place.
Well, that wasn't the
So
part that wasn't the part that was important. Well, the part that was important was that if if Seth would have pinned Damian in that situation, the storytelling, what who were talking at the beginning of the segment on Raw?
that was CM Punk and Seth Rollins,
And why were they talking?
because CM Punk screwed it up for Seth.
Now, had Seth gotten the pin, would that conversation happen?
Probably not.
So then you don't have the build between CM Punk and Seth Rollins renewed for next WrestleMania after his rivalry with Drew McIntyre goes aside. It's multi-layered storytelling.
See, I disagree with that, because even if that didn't happen, even if that situation never happened, they would have still found a way to work something to where CM
They
Punk
would have
Rollins
found.
would
They
cross
would. You're
hairs.
right. You're right. They would have found a way, but would it have been as good?
Maybe, maybe not. I don't
Well,
know for sure.
and I'll bring up another situation. So when Stone Cold gets dropped on his neck by Owen Hart at SummerSlam '97, should Owen have immediately gone for the pin when Austin couldn't stand up, or should he have done what he did, which was work the crowd, walk around the ring for like a solid minute and a half, to where it was like, why is this going on so long?
Right.
Why did Owen do what he did? Because there was a stipulation in that match that if Austin lost, he would have had to kiss Owen's keister. And imagine Stone Cold Steve Austin kissing Owen Hart's keister. Imagine, yeah, they probably could have worked their way out of it, or they could have had to deal with it in some situations.
Absolutely, they could have.
But Steve Austin losing to Owen Hart at 97 and in a match where he might have had to figure out some way to kiss Owen Hart's keister.
Well,
You're
here's
going
the
to
thing
tell
you
me
can do
that
with
wouldn't have
that.
derailed? You're trying to tell me that wouldn't have had some kind of a negative impact on the train, the expressway that was Steve Austin in '97?
Well, here's what they could have done with that if that was the case. Like, if
And
Owen had gone for the pin,
without that moment, which is when he hurt his neck, is that's how they pivoted to Stone Cold versus Mr. McMahon, because Mr. McMahon was the one telling me he couldn't wrestle when he wanted to wrestle, and that was the building of that rivalry. This is the greatest rivalry, questionably the greatest rivalry in the history of professional wrestling. That's my argument, is for discretion. And at the end of the day, if you've got a major storyline that hinges on the outcome of a match, then that sometimes the smoke and the mirrors have to be sacrificed for the greater good. Because at the end of the day, we know it's not real. We know that it's scripted, and that's to say that's not what that doesn't deter us. Now, maybe it does to the 10-year-old and under fans, but they're not buying tickets.
right?
It's the adults who are buying tickets.
I mean, I understand that completely, because
We're using the allowance our wives give us to buy tickets and talk like dorks online on a podcast on YouTube.
Absolutely. But I mean, all that to say, the match still progressed regardless of what happened, and they were able to finish the storyline, and it delivered on what they were supposed to do. But either way, they still could have salvaged it, and they still could have redirected and made it work with the circumstances.
I don't disagree with you. Like I said, 9 times out of 10, I agree that if the man's shoulders are down and he doesn't kick out in time, we don't need to be slow counting and letting people know who's supposed to win. You're not like that part takes away the excitement. 100%, I get it. But it's like, for every card, there is maybe one match that needs to end exactly the way that it's planned, and that was that match.
Yeah,
I mean, just about every single other match on that card could have gone a different way, and they could have been just fine with it. But that match needed to end that way.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
I agree. Yeah, either way, it still delivered, and it was still a great finish to that match, and it's gonna carry over.
oh,
And
and
it's
who
gonna be.
called that?
Oh, you
Who
did
called like the?
100%.
Yeah, they said that they should start
Well, let
instead of
me just
calling me
say
King,
this.
instead of calling me King Heel. Okay, instead of calling me, the big breasted, wide chested, prognosticator of prognosticators, they should just call me Nostradamus.
Who in the world calls you that?
You don't know all the people I hang out with.
Yeah, I don't want to know. Anyway, but I mean, yeah, we pretty much called the majority of what was going to happen on Money in the Bank, except for the whole Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker match, which I didn't realize that Sami Zayn, being from Canada, there's no way they're going to
Yeah,
have him drop the title to Braun Breaker. But then again, Drew lost in Scotland, so you never know. But either way,
yeah.
I mean, overall,
I
I
feel
would
like I feel
say,
like nine. I feel like 98%. Or what? I mean, how many matches? Not like were there 10 matches on the card, and we got one wrong, so 90%.
well, there
Ninety
wasn't even 10
percent.
matches.
Yeah.
It was like
Okay.
maybe
All
five or
right.
six or
88.
so.
Jeez.
But
Okay. Okay. You're lowering our percentage points, moron.
hey, nothing wrong with admitting you're wrong.
80%. 80%. I mean, I'll take that at the betting table every day.
Yeah, same here. But I mean, as far as the Money in the Bank ladder matches goes, I think it's safe to say the women's match was the better of the two.
100%. And
Yeah.
Chelsea Green was on fire. Now we picked
I
it was going to
here's
be.
my only thing about that. I so wish that she would have won,
I
but
wish she would have won,
I'm
but the way she
happy
didn't win was
it was perfect.
is fantastic.
Yeah, she will hold a championship at some point. I don't want it to be the tag team championship. I want it to be
No.
the women's world championship or the WWE women's championship, either one. But
Yep.
regardless, I'm glad that it's Tiffany Stratton because Tiffy time is now, and it's going to happen some way or another. I don't. I'm going to pull out a guess and say maybe it'll be SummerSlam.
Is so Bailey didn't wrestle. She's injured, correct?
No, Bailey just didn't wrestle because she's wrestling Nia at SummerSlam.
Okay, okay. So Bailey's wrestling Nia at SummerSlam. Um, it's possible.
Because I mean, her and Nia are in cahoots
If
with each other
Bailey and
right
Nia
now.
have a match and Bailey wins, but Nia obliterates her, then yeah, Tiffy time. It's Tiffy time.
Right. Well, I mean, and like I said, Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton are in cahoots right now. They're some
Oh,
kind
they're
of
like best friends. I see them
yeah.
on TikTok every day.
And so, I mean, with that, it could work very well in her favor, but it just depends on how the match goes. But yeah, I mean, the only thing good about the men's Money in the Bank was Andrade and Carmelo Hayes creating some like high spots for us.
Well, and that's what they were in there for. I mean, we talked about that last week. Those guys were never on the list of potential winners,
Right.
but they were the aerial specialists since Ricochet is no longer here. Um,
He didn't unalive people. I got to say that
well,
for
he's
trigger
his
warning.
career is unalived because he's going to go to AEW and basically get unalived by bad booking.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but his bank account will probably be doing just fine.
Oh yeah,
Um,
easily.
but yeah, no, that the men's Money in the Bank definitely paled compared to the women's this year, which I'm okay with. I mean,
Really,
I don't know.
honestly,
I
it's
felt,
okay because the only purpose that the men's Money in the Bank
yeah,
served was to give Drew the Money in the Bank briefcase to build the hype up towards the World
yep,
Heavyweight Championship match and play out that story. Like this whole pay per view was to help further and build on different storylines, and it did
yep.
that.
Well, it's like they served their purpose. The Money in the Bank for the men's was not to elevate any particular wrestler. It was to put the briefcase on Drew to give him that glimmer of hope that Punk could smash out and increase the rivalry.
Exactly.
The women's did elevate. The
Yes.
women's match elevated. I think anybody who's not aware of Chelsea Green's brilliance is and her ability to bump too. I mean, and then Tiffany Stratton, she won that match against some contenders. So
Yeah.
I think that elevates her, and say now having the briefcase, she's able to walk out and have a great talking point every single Friday night. So I mean, it definitely those matches serve their purpose. Now, of course, I like to see a little bit more of a car crash with the men's Money in the Bank than we did get to see. But at the end of the day, with their purposes, I don't blame the wrestlers for not trying to put on a 12-star match.
Exactly.
Uh, so that was fine. Uh, the blood. So now we got to talk about the bloodline match.
Yep. Yeah. I'll let you go ahead and start it off.
If I have a chance to kick someone in the nads, I'm kicking them in the nads, or I'm hitting them in the nads the right way. Now that's just me. I'm a professional,
Yeah.
and you can ask Cody if I'm supposed to lay something in, I'm going to lay it in.
Yeah.
Um, I'm surprised. I was surprised by the botch there. The Tongans are not known for being loose.
No.
They're very snug. I expected a very hard. I mean, between the Samoans who are, I mean, just not just not just the Tongans, but just the entire Hawaii, the entire Samoan dynasty is known for the last 50 years for being very snug,
Yeah.
very tough, uh, very professional, but they put the boots to you.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a surprise. It was kind of a letdown because, like I said, I was looking forward to having the Samoans versus three professionals who don't mind working hard. Cody has no problem working snug. Randy has no problem working snug, and KO has no problem working snug. I expected a just absolutely brutal match, and there were parts, but
Yeah.
it did not
Overall,
meet
it's just very
expectations.
mild. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
it
at the
did
end of the
not meet
day,
expectations.
I'm
They gave
glad
us
that
what we expected, what we called for, what we said needed to happen. We got that, but it wasn't where it needed to be.
no. I mean, I'm just glad that it ended the way it did with Solo
Yep,
getting the pin over Cody because
that's what
now,
needed to
like we said
happen. But
before, it establishes the bloodline as now a very viable faction that could possibly take the title off of Cody.
yeah, and maybe this was an issue with censors, not censors, but with sponsors and stuff like that. But and I just like I said, this is the kind of thing that makes me really excited for um the move to Netflix.
Yes.
In my mind, Solo didn't need to just beat Cody, pin him 1, 2, 3. He needed to be holding Cody's head as it's raining blood
Yep.
on the mat. Okay, and he's yelling in Samoan,
Yeah.
looking like a completely unhinged,
Maniac.
autocratic dictator psycho.
Yeah.
Like,
But yeah, it's like you said, I feel like it was just more having to do with sponsors and
yeah,
people that are more on the
yeah.
side of like, hey, let's not do that. Let's
They
not
don't want
get
to do
a
the
little
yeah. They
bit
don't want to do the
edgy.
big. They don't want to do the big color because it's still very much they're trying to appeal to their sponsors, and we know it's not going to just go from PG to X when it goes to
Right.
Netflix, but I do think like we will see a
I don't know.
little more
Carlito was
color.
a pretty close call on Monday. You
That's
know
funny.
that was a Triple H and Shawn moment there where they put a little like
Yeah, yeah,
jump.
and I loved it. It popped me. I'm sitting here on my couch, in the hotel because homie don't roll in nothing less than a king bedroom suite with a balcony when I travel for work.
Hey, the King Hill
That's
travels in style.
that's right. Um, I'm sitting on my couch watching one of the TVs in my hotel, um, and I'm popping. I'm cracking up during that scene.
Yeah.
Um,
I rewound
yeah.
it like at least 2 or 3 times.
Oh yeah, and just the comedy of everything in that scene was great.
Yes.
Uh, like with Finn and JD poking their heads around the corner with Carlito's dialogue,
Yeah, exactly.
everything about that. I
It
mean,
was,
it. I mean, you like
I
what
mean,
scene that reminds you of, right?
oh yeah.
Triple H Trish Stratus
Yep.
stretching.
Yeah.
Stephanie McMahon walks in.
Oh man,
I mean,
I love
it
it.
was beautiful. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a beautiful. It was beautiful. I was cracking up. I was loving every second of it. It was entertaining.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, I mean,
so someone,
overall, I think it's safe to say that Money in the Bank just served its purpose as far as furthering storylines. It didn't really do anything as far as like making a grand spectacle because it didn't need to be that.
no, yeah,
The women's Money in the
it
Bank,
moved the stories forward, and honestly, it did it beautifully. Like I
yeah,
said, you got Tiffy. She's got the briefcase now, so she's going to have an opportunity to grow. Um, you had everything with CM Punk, which was done perfectly with him and Drew McIntyre, but it also plants the seed for Punk versus Seth Rollins down the road. And those guys did a fantastic job following up on Monday night last night. Um, that that's going to be really good. That's going to
oh yeah,
mature really nicely. Um, because given the time that's gone on now, it's no longer like I'm pissed you're here, blah blah blah. You can tell there's more mutual respect between the two now,
yeah,
but there's still animosity. There's still a need to one up the other
right,
or put the other slightly beneath them, which I think is fantastic. Like it reminds me of Austin Rock going into WrestleMania 17,
yep,
where they weren't enemies at the time, but The Rock wanted to beat Austin, and Austin had no problem facing The Rock because he also wanted to know that he could still beat The Rock.
yes,
You know, so it's I'm all for it. I think that it's long term. We have long term storytelling. You can see the layers of things that are being done. And like I said, not everything's perfect, but man, let's go back a year ago. Okay,
I was about to say,
let's,
like, do we want to go back to how it was prior to now?
that's what I'm saying. Like anybody who's complaining right now, I think you're having short term memory. Like you need to go back in the long term and go look at yeah
Yeah,
where we were at just a year ago.
yeah. Where we're at now is miles above where we were before, and it's
Yep.
only going to get better from here. And like we said before, I cannot wait for when we make the jump to Netflix because the content is going to get so much better, better than it is right now. Because then we
Well, and I
have
just think
complete
there's
freedom
a
to do whatever.
yeah, and they're just going to be able to have the ability, they say, not to abuse it, because I will say, and I'll admit, as an Attitude Era denizen, um, they overdid a lot of things. I'm not looking to go back to bra and panties matches. I'm not looking to go back to having a stipulation for every single match. I'm not looking to go back to people bleeding in every single match. I'm not looking for that. You
Right.
can go to AEW if you want that. Um, but a little bit of color every once in a while. Some people will disagree with this, but I'm going to state it out. This is the combat entertainment, combat sport, combat. What do you can call it whatever you want. This is violent entertainment. You can
Yep.
call it an action movie. You can call it whatever you want. Without blood, it's just not as real.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing about
Okay?
that is like it's like we said, it doesn't have to be used for every single match, but at the
No,
same time, like
and it
it can
should be. It
help.
should be. It should be special. The problem for a lot of promotions, whether it be back in the day or even today, is if you use blood too much and everyone bleeds, then blood's not
It's like
that big of a deal.
cool. We see
Same
this
thing
all
with
the
like a
time.
pile driver. If you use a pile driver and everybody uses the pile driver or a super kick or a DDT or one particular move in general, and everyone uses it and it doesn't annihilate somebody, it loses its steam. So if everyone's bleeding, blood doesn't matter.
Right. But yeah, like
But
all that to
when
say,
you,
like Money in the Bank has done a great job with what it was supposed to do. And so all we can do
yeah,
now is just look forward to not only SummerSlam, but also Bad Blood.
well, I'm looking forward to Bad Blood because I'm going to try to go.
Oh yeah. I I would like to, but there's some other
You can.
things that cannot allow me to go. And
You can.
yeah, I can't, but I live by the motto "Happy wife, happy life." So
It's a good motto to live by, and if it was my wife's birthday, I wouldn't be going either. But
exactly.
it's not, so I'm going to say,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or in the words of the great Chandler Bing, whoopah.
But anyway, guys, now it's time for some high spots and botches. There we go. I was waiting for the sound. So I kind of went back and forth as far as high spots go. I was going to do one with Money in the Bank, we being that CM Punk did it again and cost Drew McIntyre the title. But mine, because that we're doing this on Tuesday and we got to watch Monday Night Raw,
Yeah,
my high spot is Mommy is back.
mommy,
She is
mommy's
back,
home.
and I cannot wait to
Mommy
see
returning
everything
always
unfold.
gives me some kind of spot.
But anyway, yeah,
Um,
just seeing that return, I popped big time.
oh, I
Big
knew it was.
time.
I knew it was happening. I was so pissed because one of the dirt sheet links that I
You got to
subscribed
stay off the
to,
dirt sheets, man.
dude, and well, it popped up. It was my phone. My phone fudged me. It fudged me in the A's. Like, dude, I got like 30, 45 minutes before the end of the thing. It was like Rhea Ripley spotted in Toronto. So I knew. And like when they're doing that, when they got the part where she's laying on him, they look like they're just about to get like, oh, here come you like
Yep.
this is my brutality. And
Galate!
yeah, and it was, I mean, it was awesome. Now, this is what I need. This is what I need.
Okay.
I need Rhea versus Liv at SummerSlam in a ladder match for custody of Dom part
Yes.
two.
Yes. That's exactly what I was thinking whenever this was coming to fruition because I remember watching that ladder match. That was actually the first premium live event that I watched with WWE was watching that ladder match with Rey Mysterio and
And
Eddie
I just,
Guerrero
yeah,
for
like,
Dominic's custody.
I'm your mommy, Dominic.
Like we need to have it happen. And I hope and pray that Paul puts it together. Paul Levesque, Triple H, for everybody that doesn't know. I hope and pray
My
that
guess
Paul
is
puts it
it's too
together.
on the nose and we won't get it. But if we do, I'm gonna do the pants off dance off. Like I'm just gonna just I'm gonna bump and grind the air in my living room, just going at it.
I hope it happens, but I mean, I don't know. We'll just have to see. But yeah, that was my high spot. I don't know if that was yours or not, but I thought it was pretty good.
Um, that was one of my high spots. Monday was really good.
Oh yeah.
Monday had a lot of high spots. Truthfully, last week to me wasn't that good. Um,
Well, I mean, for the most part, it was
we
just a build towards Money in the
yeah.
Bank, so really, it wasn't anything specific.
No, but like I said, I'm glad that we're recording this the day after this week's Raw because it was so much better.
Right.
I mean the promo between CM Punk and Seth Rollins, high spot, absolutely fantastic. Those guys are just the gurus of microphone. Like they're
Oh
just
yeah.
between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, CM Punk and Seth Rollins. Don't tell me CM Punk can't raise people's games because let's face it, Seth's good on the mic, Drew's good on the mic, but Seth and Drew have not been this good on the mic. Tell me, like, since when?
I know, right?
Um, and then another what I thought was really good, obviously the Wyatt Six segment, not the segment with Gable,
Yes,
but the video. Um,
where they reveal the
and
faces of
and
everybody.
it's the video, the way they do the video editing, and I mean obviously they're brothers, they look alike, but how they work the video editing with the overlaying of things, and he looks exactly like Bray.
Yeah.
Um, and the way and what he's saying and how he's talking about things. I'm not gonna lie, I was very hesitant about can Bo Dallas, Tyler Rotunda, can he channel that same level that Wyndham that Bray did, And right now, he's been doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Um,
Like this whole segment with the Wyatt Six has been absolutely amazing. And honestly, I think this video package they did on Monday was the best one they've done by far.
yeah, it was fantastic. And then another high spot I'm going to give is finally, and if you've been following the show for a while, you've heard me say like I really want Shayna Baszler to be presented as a killer again. And I've always been kind of irritated. Like Sonya Deville learned how to be entertaining, but Sonya Deville is another legit MMA, someone who came over into professional wrestling after having an MMA career. So now this faction with Sonya, Zoe, and Shayna, I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
And if it was under Vince McMahon, I would have looked at it and said this will be done in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But under the new era, I have hope again for factions like this that get together, and like I said, I really want to see these girls get together. It's what we had the opportunity to see with Shayna and Ronda that say under Vince's tutelage crapped out and was awful.
Yep.
And if you've heard anything that Ronda Rousey's had to say about her second round with WWE and how she'll never go back because of it, I think Triple H has the opportunity to right the wrongs and to put Shayna Baszler back into a position to grow and to become just absolutely deadly.
Yeah.
My guess is this will also help to elevate Zoe. And I mean, Sonya's already elevated. We'll see how it breaks out. If it's a single and then a tag team, or if they're all going to be individually single. But it was good, and them taking the other women out and establishing their dominance, I'm all for it. So,
Absolutely.
like I said, it was just a fantastic Raw. So I had plenty of high spots.
Definitely. And as far as botches go, I think we pretty much touched on quite a couple of them. I mean, of course, the pinfall from the world title match at Money in the Bank, but then the other one was the spot in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match with Zoe
this was an
Stark.
actual botch, not just we take umbrage with it. This was a legit botch.
Yep.
And we're very happy that it did not lead to an injury because it very well could have.
Yeah.
But the Zoe Stark spot, the failed springboard, missing the ladder and the opponent entirely. That was bad.
Nearly going like face first onto the ladder. Like it could have.
Yeah, she could have broken.
She could have had a Joey Mercury situation there.
Well, not a Joey Mercury situation because the ladder was coming at him, not
True,
the other way around.
But I mean, at the same time, depending on how hard she came down, if she came down face first, yeah, it definitely would have shattered her nose.
I was more worried about neck injury than orbital bones, nasal. Like we'll say, with Joey Mercury's face exploded.
Yeah. Gosh, I remember watching that. I couldn't watch it.
Oh no! I remember watching it live, and that was like,
oh yeah,
like that wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
It was no. But yeah, no. That was a legit botch. As I say, nothing against anything, but that's gonna go up in like a hall of botch famedom. As far as like botch moves, that makes what Jade Cargill did at what was the last pay-per-view?
Was it Clash of the Castle?
That's what. That one made what Jade Cargill did at Clash of the Castle look like nothing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because this one, like you said, could have led to serious injury, and so.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, as far as botches go, that's the only ones that I could think of from what's happened so far. But anyway, guys, that's our episode for this week. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for watching. Like we said before, we're on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find all of our commentary episodes on YouTube as well, and see season 2 of our podcast episodes on here as well. And like we said before, 2 upcoming events that are going on July 20th. Kraken Pro Wrestling at the Mott Lipman Gym in Tifton, Georgia. Guardians Legacy Summer of Champions in Rosenwald High School Gym in Panama City, Florida. Also, July 21st, Wrestle South at the Brooks Plaza in Albany, Georgia. A lot of events happening and great things happening in WWE and hopefully some things in AEW as well, but this wasn't about AEW this week. It probably won't be for a while. But either way, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. And as always, keep it 5-star.